Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome if you're new, welcome back if you've always been watching. So today's video is basically a Q&A, which I remember posting something on my Instagram story asking people to send me questions that they would like me to answer about my gap year. So that's what I'm going to be filming today. I'm just going to give a little bit of a background. So I decided to take a gap year straight after my A-levels last year, 2022, to this year, 2023, to just gain experiences, explore myself, I guess, like explore my interests, to just basically experiment and try new things and see what I actually love to do. I'm gonna go straight into the questions. The first question is, what was your overall thoughts after knowing you'd have to take a gap year? To be honest, like, a gap year was not in my plan at all. My plan was just high school, A-levels, then uni. Like, that's the normal, that's how it's meant to be, right? Just wasn't what I wanted. But then with the way everything was going back then, it was leading towards that decision. But after a while, like, I felt so confident in like what I wanted, like that's what I wanted, and I felt so confident in that decision. I was pretty ready to take that year out because A-levels was stressful for no reason. Studying really hard. I mean, it paid off, but I definitely needed that break. The next question is, what were you looking forward to the most during the gap year? One thing was definitely to rest, to get myself back, because I felt like I lost myself a little bit during the process of preparing for exams and just studying day in, day out. Just, yeah. Psychology, if you do psychology A-levels, you know what I'm talking about. Psychology has so much content, so many things you have to know, so many names, so many dates you have to remember. So one thing I was looking forward to during my gap year was definitely to rest, to experience new things, to meet new people. I love meeting new people. So just, yeah, those were the things I was really looking forward to during the gap year. Okay, another question is, how do you manage money during the gap year to travel and save for your studies? So obviously during the gap year, I was not just sitting back at home you know, watching TV all day. Like, you know, like, going into this, you need to have a plan. I would like to say I can be spontaneous, but then like things like this, you kind of need a plan. If not, you're gonna find yourself waking up by 12 o'clock, you know, doing whatever the day brings to you, because, like, you know, you don't have to be at school. You don't really have that much commitment anymore because school gives you that structure, and now you're just on a gap year. You have to manage your time yourself and things like that. So managing money, I was working during my gap year. So managing money, I use apps like Emma. I don't know, most people would know about Emma, like students needs to know about Emma. It's like this app that helps you budget for the week, budget your money however you want to spend it. And sometimes as well, like, it's, if you set up, like, when you pay for something and you've got like spare change, it saves like the little peas that you might not even think are useful. And I'm telling you, those little peas, they add up. Like, £1 is valuable, so they're gonna add up at the end of the day. So I use like a lot of like cashback apps like Quidco, Top Cashbacks. Those apps are really good for just when you buy stuff, you get some money back, like some percentages back of your money that you spent. So those were really good as well. When I travel and I pay for like the flights, Quidco, you can probably like find something for Ryanair on Quidco and you get some money back. Like, we need that money. Students need that money. Even if I wasn't a student then, like, I was still on a student budget. Yeah, I couldn't really use uni days because I wasn't in school, but Wait, no, I couldn't use student beans actually because I wasn't in school, but uni days still had like my sixth form ID, so I was still able to use uni days for like for discounts and stuff like that. So those like 4 apps I think I've mentioned were really good in helping me manage money and things like that. And I mean, like, spending money on travel, for me, I'm that person that I don't mind spending money when I travel. Like, I'm getting the experiences and things like that. So travel money is not really I don't really count it as spending money in that sense. Yeah, I hope I already answered the question on how I manage my money during my gap year to save for my studies, because you know, SFE is not going to cover everything, so you need to have a little bit of change, you know, like an emergency fund just in case. You never know when you might need it, and like your SFE might not be enough to cover like everything. So definitely use those apps as student, as a gap year person. Yeah. Another question that I got was, which country was your favorite to visit and why? So I would say Spain, Barcelona. So I had like 2 friends that were on a gap year with me. It's not like we planned it together, but at the same time, like, everyone had different circumstances that made them choose to go on the gap year. Having like those 2 people to plan stuff with, to just like, you know, sit together, merge minds and just decide what we wanted to do. Barcelona, Spain was like my favorite place that we visited together. It was a little girl's trip and the city was just so beautiful, so much like history, so much beautiful culture to it. The food was amazing as well. I had a bad paella experience on the first day, but I think we just didn't look properly at what restaurants we were choosing to eat at. But after that, everything else was like amazing. Yeah, I've got like this question twice. What are the top 3 interesting things that happened to you during your travel so far? And someone else also asked, what was the most memorable experience whilst on the gap year? So I'm just gonna answer these 2 together. In France, when we went to France, I and one of my friends, we went to this African kind of market, and when I tell you, it felt so much like home. Like, it was in France, but it felt so much like I was in Nigeria walking through like this marketplace. The aunties were like, come buy from me, come buy from me, I'm gonna give you a discount. I feel like I knew everyone there because everyone was just like so friendly. Hi, do you want this, do you want that, discounted prices. So yeah, that market was very like interesting to visit. I don't even think I took a video because I was just so immersed in everything. I just wanted to enjoy being in that place. I think I only took a video for my dad to show him like the stuff they sold there. Another memorable experience was in Barcelona. We went to this park. We actually decided to go last minute. We didn't know what we wanted to do on that day, and one of my friends found the park and was like, oh, this looks interesting. We decided to go there, and we just experienced so much within that park. The boat ride, obviously, that you would have probably seen from the Barcelona video, the boat ride. And we came to like this little place where everyone was dancing. There was this uncle, I'm gonna call him uncle. There was this uncle that was there and he was asking everyone like, oh, do you want to dance? I don't know what the word is. It was like baila or something like that. He was asking everyone and no one wanted to dance with him. Then I think eventually one of my friends danced with him. It was just so nice to see. Yeah, the last memorable event would probably be in France again. We went to this place to get pastries for breakfast and my friend recommended this pastry. I don't know what it's called, but it was so good. Like, I'm telling you, I've never tasted something that good before. So yeah, there was so many other things that happened, but I just cannot remember it like off the top of my head right now. But so many amazing things that happened, but that pastry is like still stuck in my head. If you went back in time, would you have chosen to still take a gap year? Yes, definitely. I'm not gonna rush into uni. I'm not gonna rush into that next stage. I know convincing my parents was like the hardest thing that I had to do. My parents just didn't see the use of a gap year. You're gonna be a year below like the people you were with before. Like, you're gonna be a year below, so what's the point of just doing it? Before I like even bring the idea to them, I had to write like a rough idea what I wanted to do. This is what I think I'm gonna be doing. This is why I chose to do this, and this I'm gonna spend my time doing this. Midway into my gap year, my dad was like, okay, I see what you're doing, and I'm actually like, I'm proud of you. So I would definitely choose to do it again. Yeah. Another question is, are you satisfied with how your gap year turned out? So this answer is like, I'm in the middle, to be honest. Yes, to some extent, and no, there was still like so much more I wanted to do. 1 year just doesn't seem like enough time, which is crazy to say, I know. Majority of everything, yes. Like, I definitely think it turned out how I wanted it to be. Majorly. I did most of what I wanted to do, so yes, I would say my gap year turned out the way I wanted it to turn out. Another question I have would be, which passage of the Bible would you say kept you going during this time? If you don't know, I'm a Christian, and one passage of the Bible I would say kept me going during the gap year was I think I don't know how to pronounce this, Esislasis, but the book of the Bible that says there is time for everything, a time to be born, a time to die. That passage of the Bible was just what kept me going. So there is time for you to go to uni, there is time for you to take this year out, there is time for everything. If this is the plan that God has for you, then why should you force something else that you know that is not the plan of God, but you still want to force it? Like, why should you do that? Focus on what God has intended for you. What's one lesson you learned that changed your perspective on things? One lesson I learned during my gap year was, at the end of the day, everyone wants to be successful, and uni is just not the only way to be successful. There's so many ways out there to be successful. If uni is not for you and you're forcing it, it's not worth it at all, because this is money you're spending. It's very expensive. You're just not like the go to lecture person, the academic, like in school all the time person. You're very hands-on. Then just do that, because that's where your interest is. If you do choose to come to uni, you're just not gonna focus, because that's not what's for you. What you're currently studying at uni, there's no guarantee that that's what you're gonna do when you graduate. You might find so many like new interests along the way. Don't be so hard on yourself that uni has to be the path for me, uni has to work. That doesn't mean that you should slack if you're already at uni. I think we're almost done with the questions. I don't want this to be a long video. Do you think your gap year helped strengthen your relationship with God? Yes, because there is so many different times that I really had to rely on God and trust God for things. It's one thing hearing people talk about, oh, God changed me, oh God, I experienced God. It's so like, I can listen to them all day, but it's so different when that actually happens to you and you're like, wow, this is actually happening to me. What everyone used to talk about, what they experienced, I'm also having my own experience right now. Where I was at the start of the gap year with God, my relationship with God is different from where I am now. I have definitely grown spiritually by the grace of God. So yeah, it's been a journey and it's still a journey. I think I'll make this the last question. I think I answered, because people send questions that like the same questions, so I just answered them as one question. Are you up to uni? Are you up to uni this year? I'm already at uni. I moved in not long ago. Should have filmed this video like back in August. I'm gonna end the Q&A session with that question. Okay, so I'm just gonna say my advice for people deciding to take a gap year before uni. I would say definitely have a rough idea of what you want to do during this 1 year. 1 year goes so quickly, I'm telling you, it goes so fast. It doesn't have to be like a very clear and detailed plan, but just have a rough idea of what you want to do so that you don't feel lost. Use this time to prioritize yourself and try to experience new things, try to meet new people, try to make connections during this time. Try to build connections and use the time to get money too. Get money so that you're kind of ready for the next step. If the next step is uni, if the next step is apprenticeship or going straight into work, just having extra money helps, right? So yeah, if you're coming from an ethnic background trying to make this decision, I know it's gonna be hard to talk to your parents. It's a discussion you're gonna have to have at the end of the day. So just be prepared for whatever your parents says and just try your best and let them see that you really need to take this year. So that's gonna be my advice for anyone going into taking a gap year. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed watching, make sure to like, comment and subscribe to the channel. I'm gonna try to be consistent. I'm at uni now. I really want to focus, but at the same time I love making videos, so I'm gonna try to be consistent. Yeah, thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next video.